There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenience store, we host a CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.
And we're live, bro.
Yo.
Oh, man. How goes it, bros? Everybody watching on Twitter, YouTube, wherever I am, I think DLive and Twitch and other places. How goes it? This is not another Bitcoin podcast, and I'm with my bro, Trekk. How goes it?
It goes, bro. It goes. I'm sorry. I'm trying to push the live tweet right now over on Twitter, and then I'm looking at what's going on the phone because I got the IG running. So I'm trying to help get this word out.
If you're watching right now, just hit a retweet, hit a share. I don't know, spread the podcast. I try to do this every single day, so a little support goes a long way.
Your schedule for this is crazy. I thought about that. I thought I tried doing it as far as opening up to be hey, I'll do a 30-minute or an hour session with anybody. I'm here to help. And I can say what I think I did wrong was, one, I was over on the LinkedIn side. It's a whole different community movement, animal mentality on the LinkedIn side compared to how you push on the Twitter side and how that community works, right? I did that for I want to say 6 months. And I probably had 4 people reach out to me in the 6 months. But that was me trying to figure out LinkedIn. I would imagine if I put as much energy and effort as I did on the LinkedIn side, on the Twitter side, and
right,
I would probably have done way better.
Well, Twitter's has more engagement. Yeah.
Right. Had the schedule up. You can go in. I had the days blocked out. This was what the window of time was. And then, if you wanted to talk about whatever, all right, what's up? Let's see how hopefully I can help you with something.
Yeah, I have three bookings available for each day, and I have 3 every day booked up now. But it wasn't always like that. It took a while. It took a lot of consistency, and I don't really promote it much. I got a pinned tweet or something, and I'll tweet something out or whatever. But yeah, my schedule, my calendar is open source. Anybody can book me if they need me for a podcast, a meeting, a consultation, whatever. It's been pretty fun. And yeah, I mean, just, keep at it on LinkedIn, bro. I think LinkedIn just got live streaming, didn't they?
I think they did something with it, but LinkedIn is a funny animal, right? In that, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they were yeah, LinkedIn moves slow. Cause I was saying how 2021, I'm doubling down on content, bro. I'm taking Twitter screenshots and then I'm writing little mini articles on it, little blogs. I'm doing my consistent Monday through Friday vlogs and stuff. And then I'm just going in on people's posts already, but I'm actually saying stuff, right? So it's not just thumbs up. It's not just the emoji hand clap. And I was saying to, I forgot who I said this to, but I was yeah, the algos on LinkedIn don't work like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, right? In that there is so much wiggle room for you to just dominate getting stuff out. And then lo and behold, like I want to say at some point last year, this had to be like after what was it? This is like after what was this? I was like October-ish. Gary Vee starts talking about how LinkedIn is the place where you can really dominate. But he's not breaking it down in regards to the algos. He's talking about it from the standpoint of like, if you're doing paid promotions, LinkedIn is undervalued. And I'm like, bro, I've been at this shit for like a year and change now. And I tell people, like, if you want to mess with it on this side, you got to understand it's a different animal in that you're dealing with 9-to-5ers. Even for the people who are like in the gig economy stuff like myself or in the blockchain crypto space, even those folks who say, oh, I'm an engineer, I'm the CEO of blah, 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 I'm the whatever title or skill set you want to talk about, majority of those folks are operating on a 9-to-5 time frame window. So like LinkedIn sucks if you publish or post anything after 7 p.m., especially if you're looking at it from your local market, right? Region wise. So like when I post stuff after 12, well, let's say 1, East Coast, American timeline, none of my African, European, or Asian folks really engage with it.
Right, and then by the time they wake up, it's already not in their suggested or in their top feed or anything like in their latest feeds. Like that's why this podcast is scheduled at noon Eastern, because it's the highest trafficked time for engagement and impressions in my time zone. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do my podcast at noon. But then I'm not realizing like, oh, I should probably be doing it at a European or Asian best time, not the American East Coast best time. So I actually have been looking into like, what is the world best time to be like, live streaming instead of the local live stream time. But that is why this is at noon every day. It's because it's the best time to do it. If I'm going to do it, might as well do it at noon.
Bro, like so true. On the end of like that window, that crossover, the part of where you say, okay, if I'm looking at doing California or East Coast time, or like West Coast or East Coast time, and then you start taking into consideration when you're talking about like you're trying to reach like South Africa, that's what 12 hours or 8 to 12 hours ahead. And then like if you go even further towards like Korea or Japan, like you're already in the next day. And like finding that window, but then you got to be consistent as shit with it, bro. Like,
well, that's the algo, right? Yeah, if you're consistent, you can kind of get it to love you. YouTube's very similar. Like, I don't abide by its laws really, because I'll throw a random live stream of me playing a video game and like that breaks the algo up already. But if I only did like this podcast on YouTube every day at noon, the algo would love me. But it hates me because I throw random stuff at it all the time, not consistent, very chaotic, and it can't figure me out. And I kind of like that, but I also don't get thrown up in suggested or recents or things like that. But I am aware of like how I could play that a little bit better. But yeah, I don't let it stop me from like doing me on the YouTube channel and stuff. But yeah, that people that are into, content creating and trying to do things like that, this is like the key ingredients to the cake of being like, entrepreneurial marketing. Even if you're just selling t-shirts that you created on Teespring or NFTs that you created on a blockchain, you need to know how to get the word out and what's the best time or way to do it. And, things like LinkedIn and Twitter are definitely the routes. Facebook is a waste of time. You're wasting your time all day, every day on Facebook, no matter what you're trying to do.
I would argue anything that falls within the Facebook wheelhouse. If you are not looking to actually spend the money, like, so, okay, boom. Working on a book called Brand Echo. Every brand has a story. No, every brand has a voice who's echoing yours, right? And one of the things that while I was going through the process of learning this whole marketing branding thing, that I started realizing because of what I was going through with my SoMe was if you weren't willing to pay to do like the paid ads, you were artificially being
Suppressed, yeah.
throttled and
Yep.
suppressed. And so, what is it? Twitter does it to me to a degree.
Well, they gatekeep what they know is worth money, right? They're like, oh, well, if you want these impressions, you're gonna have to pay for them, and that's where it's
Right. And at this point, I'm just like, you know what? And that's why I started like
I have seen a lot of people using Twitter's ads for like
Mhm.
their own little Twitter accounts, but that's like once or whatever a month or in something small, and I'm like I get it because they're throwing themselves into that pool of like, oh, the rest of their tweets for the month might be able to get some more love because they're paying for at least one ad a month. And I've seen more and more people, like regular, not businesses, just people paying for Twitter ad space.
Right. Like it is a way to game the system for sure. Like, so all right. One of the things that I really went through learning last year was it's one or two things that are gonna make it work for you when it comes to this thing of building your brand out. And I think that within the blockchain vertical, right? Like for me, in doing this whole branding thing, I look to deal with companies dealing with blockchain one way or the other, or individuals, right? And one of the things that I think messes the space up is, and this is because we come from the tech side, right? The folks who go, well, tech startups have a checkbox for how you do your marketing, how you make your brand image, how you have your brand voice. And then you say, well, if it's a company, there was X amount of back end money that got put in, and they're like, yo, we want an ROI in X amount of months. So as opposed to saying, let's actually make something that connects with people, people understand the brand message, they accept it, and then they translate it to other people their own way that helps us get out there. It's like, well, no, we got to put this package thing together, and it has to work in a certain timeline. If it doesn't work in that timeline, well, this wasn't a good investment. I'm going to take my money back, or I'm just going to, as soon as I can exit, I'm exiting. Like, think about it this way. Look at the number of companies, or let's say tokens, that ICO'd in that 2016 to the beginning of the 2018 period. We was up to like 3,500. Now we're around, I think, 2K something. And all of that was in part of, if we do a rapid growth hack in X amount of time, and we put X amount of bucks behind it and pay for all these different touch points of getting the brand voice and the brand echo out. Like, look at how people was on a tear for interviews, who was paying for promotion.
Well, you saw how that, yeah, we saw how that was game theory and how they tried to fix that, right? Like how, oh, we're being exploited, and then all of a sudden you can't get crypto related ads on Facebook, and you can't do ads on YouTube because all those ICO scammers exploited that system, that pay to win model that social media platforms kind of built around reality. Like once we started using the internet and the social, we kind of gamified social, right? And that's all that they look at it as now, as a game. We're just characters in it, like Sims, and they're farming us for their data. And they know that now, like you said, they don't focus on the end user. They focus on the monetary value of the platform. How can we make these clicks worth something? And people are starting to get upset and pissed off with it. More people are, using, and different things are being created because of that. Look at Steam It and the Hive blockchain and all these other, decentralized media platforms. And I think like Filecoin and other things are going to get things to actually like all be on a blockchain. And I don't know. We're going to see how that turns out, but it's a pay to win game. If you want to win the game of reality right now, the real world, you got to pay, and you can win it. And that's what they did. You remember fucking Oscar Mayer coin, bro?
Yes. Oh, bro, I remember when you sucked. I was like,
you know how many motherfucking people fell for that bullshit, and I'm the only one. Like, Oscar Mayer coin, really? Is that like what we're gonna FOMO over? Fucking idiots.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw out another phrase for
But
you.
they had ads everywhere, so they had to be legit.
And
You
then
know,
the
you know who
website,
else? You know who else had ads everywhere? They had to be legit because they paid to win that game, right? Telegram. Remember Telegram's ICO? Kick,
right?
Keek or whatever the
Yeah.
message. All these things that paid to play to win, and they did, and then they rug pulled, and we kind of forgave them and forgot about it. Nobody holds Telegram accountable for their little fucking ICO scam.
Wait, so I would say in regards to the Telegram side of it, their issue was that they were trying to fight the American Fed. So that's kind of why they get a little pass because it was all right, well, we're going up against
They
the
didn't pull
people.
the rug themselves, so it's not their fault. But I
Eh,
mean,
like arguably a forced hand, arguably, right?
that's a scapegoat, and you know it.
No, I'm not saying it's not, bro. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying if you look at their scenario compared to other scenarios, it's not one of those like, um, we got all the money we need.
Okay, but BitConnect's the same thing, right? The BitConnect got shut down because Texas, right? They started the investigation, and the SEC kind of stepped up, and then so it was like BitConnect only kind of doesn't exist because of the SEC and shit. So it's like, but we still hold BitConnect accountable as being a scam and scamming people. It's like we
Yo,
like to play favorites, bro. We love the
yo,
favoritisms.
yes, for sure, bro, for sure. We definitely do. I was gonna throw something out that you said, and I can't remember what it was. It'll come back to me at some point. Um, yeah, damn, I can't remember what it was you
That
said.
happens all the time to me, and it's such a brain worm.
I so wanted to just throw this out when you said it. Hey, what's going on for the folks over on Instagram Live right now?
I
Thanks so
see
much.
Carbon Flight Productions in the chat says, I see you, Trek. How goes it, Carbon? Scott, how goes it, bro? Thanks for using the Bitcoin emoji. I love when people use those emojis. They were a pain to set up. Emilio, how goes it, bro? Chris, Jordan's in the chat. Senor Lupe, hola, bro. He says, hola, amigos. What up, Lee?
Hello.
How goes it, everybody?
Chris, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I got multiple screens and stuff running right now. So it's like looking at the YouTube live, our thing with the Zoom and the IG plus the Twitter side of things right now. So yeah, trying to get those algos. Paying
So
attention.
So I mention this because I worry about the same thing happening right now that we already saw happen in 2017, but we were only at like 1% mass adoption, and now we have, maybe 2% mass adoption, which is double, the people, which is a whole group of people that aren't used to what we have already experienced during like the ICO shit. And I think it's going to happen with these NFTs way more than people are ready for.
Okay, bruh. I am
Dude,
100% there with you. 100% there with you. And it's funny. Like I watch what Crypto Finally does. I chat when I can with 3D Three Douglas. And I forgot who it was. Somebody posted something, I think on Twitter, and they were making that same thing of like, yeah, like this NFT thing is definitely going to hit a high point, and then it's just going to start. They didn't use the word culling, but I'm using the word culling to say like I think that the NFT is the repeat event of the ICO phase. And the folks who are in now, like, I'm just dipping my toe in because of the books that I'm working on now to make the NFT cover art stuff. But it is definitely interesting to see how the platforms are popping up. Not popping up. Let me rephrase that. There are the platforms that are definitely doing real work as far as
there's platforms establishing themselves.
Yes, for sure. But then to see the influx of people who are just jumping in thinking, oh, if I just put a color, a circle, and a banana, somebody has to pay me $1,000. And it's just like, nah, dog, like it don't work. Well, it could work like that for a little bit and then do we call this a rug pull? Like, what do we call this when this happens?
new words will be created to define the events that we manifest from the technologies that we manifest, that all things that haven't existed yet will, like, we don't know what we'll call it yet, but it'll be an event, that's for sure.
Right.
I mean, I remember tweeting, and it's definitely still out there somewhere. If somebody wants to find it, I think 3D Douglas will probably be able to find this. But I tweeted probably over a year and a half ago at this point, almost 2 years ago. I said NFTs are going to be ICOs 2.0.
Yes.
This is exactly what's going to happen. And I told people, NFTs are going to be considered securities, and the way that I see things going now, I told, I kind of tweeted recently. I was like, this is how we get the SEC involved. You guys are going to ruin this. This is like, something along those lines. Keep calling your NFT an asset, because the SEC fucking loves assets.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're using the words they love, that they already have definitions in their courts of their laws that are defined by what they say it is. And we start calling that, and they say, yeah, that's what it is. Like, all right, well, this is how we're going to treat it. And then all of a sudden we're going to go, well, no, it's different. It's not. We need new words. Hey, shout out to BTC Kyle. He says, we need your BTC price predictions by end of 2021. 1 Bitcoin will equal 1 Bitcoin by the end of 2021.
Yo, I am the same way, bro. I do not do price talk. All I can tell you is shit's going to go up, shit's going to go down. If you want to talk about the USD equivalent value.
I don't care about the price. I really don't. I fucking, I can't wait till Bitcoin makes price irrelevant. Money is going to be obsolete. That's Bitcoin.
Yo, okay. So what was it? What was I thinking the other day?
Yeah. Oh, Emilio says a bunch of celebrities are jumping into the NFT space. Logan Paul, Mark Cuban, and Soulja Boy. Yeah, I wouldn't touch.
Mark Cuban is trolling like a motherfucker.
Yeah, that was. I said that too, man. I was like, that was digital bathwater. If he isn't trolling, that's like the best. That's the. He saw what Justin Rollins did with, like, scribbles. It was like stick figures, and it sold for like $100,000 and shit, right? And and that's basically, he's literally trolling and just like putting a hat out. He has like a cameo thing. If you give him like $600, he'll say happy birthday to your grandma. It's just one of those, rich people who just want to get richer and will do anything to convince you to give him your money that you worked for. And that NFT is exactly that. And I said the same thing, like, dude, I was actually pretty hype about Soulja Boy, and then I did a little bit of DYOR on him, and that motherfucker has like at least 3 previous rug pull fucking scams. His most recent one was ripping people off, selling them a Soulja Boy Game Boy console thing, and never refunded people, and it was basically like, scams. I'm like, this dude, okay. How could anybody buy an NFT from somebody who owes people money still?
All right, so this goes to what I talk about when it comes to brand echo, right? You have your interpretation of what you see Soulja Boy's track record as. He has a track record of scams. You are going to then go and echo that out to other people. Not everyone else is going to do their due diligence and research to say, do I counter the narrative that I came to understand from Ken? They'll just accept it, build on it, and then they'll spread the same thing too. Because somebody else is going to come and be like, yo, you should get in such and such a thing. The rapper, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll name Soulja Boy. They'll be like, oh, Soulja Boy? I don't mess with him. But they'll listen about the other person. And then they'll take on that brand echo of the other person. It might not be the best thing, but it will happen. Like, this is the funny thing that I see about the space right now, where, again, because we're so close to the fintech, techie, geeky side of stuff, we look at these things in regards to, like, how do you growth hack? How do you get the user base, the market penetration, and all of that stuff in days and weeks? We look at that as a time scale, days and weeks. And my thing right now, and how I look at brand, and why I say, if you're building towards brand echo, you're talking about years and probably decades. I was writing something about, what was I writing about? I forgot what I was writing about, but G.I. Joe GI Joe is damn near a 40-ish year old, or 30, late 30-year-old brand, right? The people who grew up in the 70s and the 80s, that 2 decade period, had the most direct exposure at the high point of GI Joe, as far as the cartoon, the movies, the action figures. The people who came in the 2000s did not have the same sentimental value for GI Joe like the folks from the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, theirs
There
was for Pokemon instead.
Okay. So now now we're gonna talk about matured brand echo. So now you have it that the people who were 5 years old, 6 years old, they saw those commercials on TV. They saw their friends who had the GI Joe action figures at their house. They would play soldiers, right? You didn't play cowboys and Indians no more. Okay? Make believe world of GI Joe, and the Cobra was the enemy. There was no Vietnam or none of that going on. They see these commercials. They're the brand echo to the parents. Hey, I want that. I want that. I want that. They get it. They get older. They grow up. They do away with the action figure toys, but they still support the movies and stuff. Guess how much what's his name? Snake Eyes action figure that is about like this big, 12 or so, 15 inches max. Action figure in the action pose. You can't play with this shit. It's 3D printed. Somebody painted it. Guess how much that sold for, bro? And this is, I think, the end of last year.
I mean, I couldn't tell you. It depends on a lot of different things, but I mean, by the way you're talking, probably at least 5 figures.
So I'm gonna say no on the initial. From the one that I was looking at, it was over $800, but it didn't break 1,000.
Okay.
Again, this isn't the original action figure in.
Well, the reason I was thinking is because you said 3D print it, and just the cost to 3D print something's a lot.
Oh, bro.
It costs a lot, and then if it fucks up in the middle, you got to start over, and that's time and cost. That's why I was thinking it'd probably be at least. But yeah, no, I get it. I mean, but this is, for me, a lot of the times is like, and this is why sometimes a lot of people on Twitter kind of get upset that I haven't bought their art or I haven't bought their NFTs or whatever yet. Is, I mean, it's a 50-50 thing for me. It's like 50% of it is like, I love this art, so I want to support it.
Right.
And the other 50% is I love this person and I want to support them. And that's like, you know, if I don't know the artist or whatever, like I just, it doesn't feel the same as if I like know somebody. Because at that point, it just feels like sending somebody a birthday card with some money in it, except I get the birthday card and they get the money.
I mean, yeah, and that's the part of the sentimental value part of it, right? Like, what are you considering the
well, I get you're right. So I like Justin Roland's art, even though it's like a fucking stick figure, right? I mean, it's priceless to me. But that's because if, you know, he was at Comic-Con and he drew a piece of art, you know, if he drew a stick figure on a piece of paper and handed it to me, I would cherish that forever. It would be priceless. I would never want to part with it for any amount of money because Justin Roland drew me a stick figure animation on a piece of paper and handed it to me. And then as soon as I walk outside that door and I could walk into somebody who is just as big of a fan, just like me, and tell them, hey, look what I have, they, without being able to verify that was drawn by Justin Roland, it would be worth nothing to them while it's priceless to me at the same time, because there is no way to verify that piece of art. But with NFTs, we can verify, like, oh, that is a doodle by Justin Roland. And I guess because I am a fan, it adds that value. And like, Mark Cuban has his own cult fans who he has probably made a lot of money from listening to his, his own little things that he does and stuff. And they're probably, made $1 million, so they're happy to throw 10 grand at an NFT that he sells, because that's their version of the same thing. I'm just buying, sending him a tip for, like, as a thank you for all his, his stuff he's done for me or whatever.
Right. Like, no, all right. So I'm not trying to say like, how am I saying this? What I am saying in regards to this brand echo thing, and then as far as like what value is, I think that this decade, in regards to the brand echo, I think that there's a thing of matured brand echo. And I was using the GI Joe Snake Eyes figurine as the example of, here is it that you have these people, these kids that grew up to be adults, right? GI Joe in, what was I gonna say, 2012, an action figure was probably like $12, bro. And then like once you open the package, if it was one of the rare ones, like when they had like the metal bodies, those sell for a good amount too, still now. But nonetheless, it's because the folks who grew up and had that sentimental value that they had attached to the childhood memory, the cartoon, the playing with their friends, the whatever the thing is that they remember about it. That community agreed enough to be like, this thing is worth X amount in USD or whatever fiat you use in the price of it, or if you're using the crypto, right? Now, on the art side of it, again, I agree with you. Like, I was looking at your joint with Pepe Twerk. That was funny.
Twerky Pepe, thank you. I love it. We sold all of them. They are all sold out, man. I'm so proud.
No, I got one, like, I want to say a couple of hours before it sold out. I was like, man, I'm not going to get it now. I was like, damn. But I want this other one. I wanted the other one where the Bitcoin was bouncing up and down, but I was like, damn, I don't got enough money to do that one too. I was like, we got to make decisions right now. I'm like, I at least got to get one of these because I fucks with you, right? And I said that from day one when we first met, bro.
I did the same thing with a few people I got into this. Like, Mike Salvi's got his one-liners. He's doing comedy NFTs. So now you can buy his jokes.
Okay, yo, I haven't seen Mike on anything in a while.
Yeah, he's been low key off the radar, but I finally motivated him to start because I've been for like a good year now, like over a year, because at the end of 2019, I was on him about this. I was like, dude, you got to start making, your stand-up into NFT clips and sell your one-liners because I want to buy these.
He has one-liners. Like look at what the joint that happened the other day with the NBA, and they were selling clips of games as NFTs. So it's like, if y'all can do this, then my man could do one-liners, like, and that counts.
Yeah, I think the NBA Top Shot moments kind of pushed him over the edge a little bit when he saw, like, they're just taking a clip from the game. I'm like, yeah, that's what I told you to do. Take a clip from your fucking set. It's the same. Yes. And he's like, so something clicked, and so I appreciate you getting one of the Twerky Pepes, man. That was a lot of fun to do on that collab for sure, and I'm looking forward to I'm setting up a few more already. I've got another one lined up to drop, and I have my artist making more of the collectibles that are coming out.
So yeah, we had like a whole long back and forth after you introduced us last night, bro. And I'm like, yeah, I want to get this done, and I'm also interested in this thing. The Smurf thing, that's gonna come soon enough. And yeah, we were talking about some things because of some other stuff I'm working on. Like, I'm doing a giveaway with Guapcoin right now, out of like my own money, right? So that's a whole other thing. If you look at what's going on IG, like, I'm playing that that if then that game. Well, I'm not using if then that on there, but I'm playing that game on IG. And so we're gonna see how it rolls out. Like, for the rest of the year, I'm doing a giveaway on that. And then what's his name from what's his name? Crypto Jobs List. It begins with an R. I can't remember how to say his name right now. I'm sorry, bro. I'm horrible at names. I have been looking to push his stuff for like over a year now.
Oh, wow.
So I was talking with Thing last night, and I'm like, yeah, I want to get like more memes, but have like more like relevant kind of stuff, which is really kind of hard to do in the meme and gift space because of just how fast we have the turnaround for like what's pop culture relevant or what like goes viral.
Man, you can't tell what the fuck's gonna go viral. And Emilio said it in the chat earlier with everybody needs pet rocks or something. Dude, that's exactly NFT pet rocks pop up left and right. Like, things that are just like, I can't believe this is trading for 6 figures, or I really do encourage people to watch anything that's related to the Beanie Baby history. Just please, just educate yourself. Everything Beanie Babies, the whole history, everything about Beanie Babies. Just apply, and Pet Rocks and Beanie Babies, and then take what you have learned from that, looking into that, and apply that to crypto and NFTs. Because sometimes Pet Rocks pop up and these NFTs blow up just because people like them, and they don't have the GI Joe, branding, and they don't have the utility of like anything. They're just googly eyes on rocks, and that's it, man. And I feel like that's kind of like what my NFTs kind of are, man. It's like I'm not like Mark Cuban, you know what I mean? I'm not that dude that can, just be like, oh, here, I could draw a thing on a piece of paper and give it to one of my followers, and they're gonna like be able to sell that to another follower because they weren't at the conference. I don't, but that's kind of what my NFTs kind of are. It's just like, hey, Ken drew this, Smurf thing, and, he sold it to me, and you want to buy. So it's like, I feel like, my shit's even Pet Rocks, because, like, they're going up in value, and I see the secondary sales. Like, people are buying some shit for, like, 100 wax, and some other people are buying it from them for, like, 900 wax, and I'm like, this is insane.
But, like, here's the funny thing about, not funny, haha, but, and you definitely got me to start thinking about this and taking it more serious as far as intellectual capital, and then the physical forms, as far as, is this thing within the internet physically, not physically, but like the visual physical form of this thing taking place somewhere. So case in point, if I write a book, if I make art, if I make music, these are the physical things of sensory inputs that I put out, right? And I was thinking about it for like how long you've been pushing on this thing, how you've been experimenting, how you've been going through your trial and error, how you are getting known more out there now because of the consistency. And it goes to like how, you look at the sports and entertainment people who are tokenizing their contracts or their likeness, or like, what's his name? The artist who did it last year, and his joint sold out like crazy in like under an hour. Not Uzi Vert. It was a Young Yachty, one of them.
Oh, yeah, Little Yachty.
Little Yachty. Okay, there we go.
I think it was Little Yachty who did that, yeah.
So looking at it on the end of you pushing and doing what you do in adding value to people as far as educating, in the consulting work, in more people wanting to pay you for how you think and what you say, bro. Like, that's one of my daily affirmations, bro. Like, clients are gonna pay me for how I think and what I say. And I think that for how I see you moving, I have no doubt that like your value, the value of your intellectual capital is going to go up, because it's not like you talking shit as just like trying to rug pull people, trying to like, scheme people out of money. Like, you're not doing the funky, questionable shit that X amount of other folks are doing, right? As well as like, what the hell you talking about. And it's not like you somebody who just jumped into space 6 months ago and was like, oh yeah, so Bitcoin's the way to go. NFTs are how you make money. Like, no, like that's just how I look at what you do, bro. And it makes me look at my stuff and I'm like, all right, so if I start putting out stuff on this NFT related like vector of like blockchains, and if I keep doing what I'm doing as far as like talking about the branding, helping people understand how to like make longer lasting actual brands in this particular space. And granted, the stuff that I talk about in branding and the marketing stuff, it can apply to any sector. It just happens that I want to focus on the vertical of blockchain and crypto related companies and startups, right? Over the time, what I'm doing is going to have value. Everything that I touch and related to me. It's like when you look at the basketball player, the football player. The first year, they got X amount of money, but the more wins, the more touchdowns, the more blocks, the more catches they have, that adds into like, oh yeah, that's a valuable player. Anything that they touch is going to end up making money. Like, that's how I see you, bro. Anything you touch in the long run, yeah, it's going to be valuable. and it's gonna be for different reasons why people find it valuable.
I mean, I appreciate that. I don't know how to respond to it other
I
than
know I
like,
said a whole lot, bro.
and it's just, I mean, I guess I can agree in the sense that like, somebody, I don't remember who tweeted it out the other day. Somebody tweeted, "You can't cram experience," and I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell people about these NFTs. Is like, I've been here before. I was into NFTs before NFTs existed. Like, I was talking about shit that was going to be CryptoKitties before CryptoKitties were CryptoKitties. And then it happened. And I was like, yo, like, they're doing exactly what I thought they would do with this shit. Like, I saw what they were doing with color coins because I did come into Bitcoin a little late. Like, 2015 is late, you know? It was like half a decade late to the game. So I had to do some background looking into shit, and I saw color coins and what they were doing, and I was like, wait, basically I could take some Satoshis and just say these Satoshis are a Charizard. That's cool. And, you know, the next thing you know, CryptoKitties and what we have now with, like, you know, NFT DeFi and staking. And yeah, dude, I've seen this coming for so long and just immersed myself in it to the point that, like, when I talk to people that have like a year of like education in this space, and like they spent a lot of time and a lot of money on that education, they still don't see a half of the potential of the tech that they spent learning. You know, they're still bottlenecked, or they're still like in a box that's really fucking weird because they paid to learn this thing, and what they have learned is what they know, and all they know is what they've learned because they have invested in that. They can't think past it because they put themselves in that shit. It's weird.
All right, I'll throw one on that one for you. So they paid to get the packaged version that is someone else's experience and understanding. They didn't put the work in to go through trial and error of breaking it, fixing it, figuring out why it broke, and figuring out what works for them. Like, who the hell is it? So one of the first people that I really gravitated towards in this whole crypto thing was Andreas, right? And I remember in the beginning, like there's a point where he started talking about he wasn't focused as far as saying it can only be Bitcoin. And he started like broadening his thing of, I can't tell you what to do or what to believe. And in the beginning, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't understand this thing. And what I've like realized over the years, now more so than before, is because of how the space has expanded so much on what it means to be in crypto, what it means to say, I have crypto. I remember the first time someone told me they learned about Bitcoin because they learned about XRP first. I was lost, bro. I was lost when I heard that. Because it was like, what do you mean? Like, how did you not hear about Bitcoin first? So you got people who are basically paying to get like the package version of this space. And then they are so still within the box about everything that they don't want to go out and experiment. They don't want to go out and, deal with the trial and error. Like, they don't want to fail. Everyone wants to be safe and feel good. And this is like, no, like.
And if it doesn't work, they have somebody to blame, right? Hey, I paid you to teach me, and now it didn't work. No one wants
responsibility, bro.
I did what you said, exactly how you said it, and it didn't work. So now I have a scapegoat. I have somebody to blame other than myself.
Right. And this is like, but like, I think, and this is one of the things that I worry about with the Michael Saylors and Elon Musk is and like the whole thing now going on with the institutional side, players moving in that the narrative is changing about having self-responsibility and then being able to push it off on someone else because you paid for it, or because self custody is not the best thing. Like you don't understand the benefit of it because you're still hoping it works like the traditional financial sector.
That's
And
why people
that's
don't
why,
want to be their own bank. They don't want self custody because that comes with self accountability.
yes. And like this is one of the reasons that I worry about that whole micro strategy and what Michael Saylor's pushing. And it also changes the narrative, and it expands the narrative of what are you doing in the space. And what I feel like is happening right now is that there is more of this. It's not about being able to spend crypto. It's about being able to what am I saying? Um, uh, secure your value or like secure your net worth, right? So we're changing. We're really talking about changing what it was in the white paper, like bottom line. And it's funny, like how often do you hear anyone even talk about the white paper anymore, bro?
Not at all in 2020. Not once.
Bro, like,
No, it's dude. Yeah, I agree.
and like I look at this and I'm just like, all right, like, and I remember I
Money
heard
changes everything, bro. As soon as Bitcoin broke $1,000, everything changed, and then it broke 10 grand, and that everything changed again, and it got farther and farther away from its original ethos.
bro, like, and watching it, and again, I get the whole thing of the space has to expand, the trials and errors and the bumps in the road have to come up. I'm more understanding of it now than I was say like 3 years ago. Before I was like, no, that doesn't even make sense. We got to decentralize everything. What are you talking about? It's only Bitcoin, and now I'm just like, okay, I get it now. Like, there's definitely more growth, and then we have to go through these really screwed up moments of people locking a couple $1 million worth of Bitcoin away and never having access to it again. We have to go through the rug pulls. We have to go through the scammers. Like we have to go through the government coming in and be like, no, I got to dig in your pocket and shoulder tap you. Like it's all a part of it to get it so where like hopefully enough people appreciate what were the initial attributes and goals of it to utilize it that way. Like I'm not saying, just be a saver on it where you're protecting your, like, how am I saying this? I can't tell you how to use it. I would just really like to see more people being acknowledged or at least acknowledging that it's not just one check the box for the technology and the use cases. That's what I'm not liking about what I see going on right now, where I feel like a lot more people are jumping in arguing that it's about checking one box. And it's like, but that wasn't the point of this thing. That's not how it worked. Like who even talks about cypherpunks now, bro? Like it be so many things that I look at now in this space.
Man, what's funny you say that is like they make this game called Cypherpunk, right? It came out, it's like a big popular game or whatever, and
right.
I feel like they do shit like this to fuck with the algos of search engine optimizations. And I mean, I feel like Hollywood's been doing it forever, but if you ever try to look up a historical event that they have made a movie around, it is very hard to find the real history of that event because we have been bombarded with Hollywood version of that event. So when you try to historically look at it, like Google, whatever, fucking the Alamo, you're going to get different movies, TV shows, plays, fucking blogs, all this shit about the Alamo. But what? You're going to have to dig to find what happened at the Alamo, right? And that's, the same thing with like cypherpunks. People are going to Google the word cypherpunk in 10 years and they're never going to see what a cypherpunk was. They're just going to see the game.
Like, yeah, you have, like, bro, like I said, like, I look at all of this stuff now and it's just like, what? Like, it's honestly, at times, it is a frustrating awareness to have. Like, I'm a sum it like that. It is a
Dude, it
frustrating.
is. I mean, you know, like knowing the fact that like if the sun farts in the wrong direction, we're all dead. Knowing too much is a frustration on life, and you have to
Yes.
you have to suppress what you know to increase quality of life because knowing too much decreases that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then that
For
that
sure.
inspires, you know, intentional ignorance where it's like, wait, all right, I learned a little bit too much about space, I'm done, I'm not looking, you know, I'm not, nope, I don't want to learn about this anymore. And then you look
Right.
at like things like Yellowstone and you're like, well, I'm done, not looking at Yellowstone anymore. And
Bro,
then,
like,
then there's the people that know that the economy is going to collapse and the banks are ripping them off, and they're like, "Nope, I'm not looking at that anymore," and they just ignore this thing that is an inevitable possibility of doom.
I feel like
Blissful
this decade,
ignorance, intentional, bro.
like, I feel like this decade, and I've been saying this shit since like 2019, bro. It is going to be a battle of the let me say what there is to say as far as like, um, what I see going on, and it may make me feel uncomfortable, versus you only saying things that make me feel comfortable. And the other day, I was getting into a long ass phone conversation with a friend of mine who literally said, I am building my own echo chamber. And they're going through their SOMI and they're deleting people that now, like, so for example,
Oh yeah,
we
if
had
you
somebody,
if you voted for Biden, I'm unfriending you.
right? But like, she's on the, well, Biden she's in the Biden camp. And I was just like, but so you don't want to hear the other side of it because you're just not there to deal with that reality now.
I
Well,
don't want
no.
to watch it rain. I just want to see the rainbows.
Yes. Yes. Bruh, like when she said it, I was just like, wait, so you're telling me that the people that you got along with before, because they have different political or whatever, like human rights, views or awareness than you do, you're now cutting them off, even though you've known them for years
Well, this isn't the
and you've
first
talked to
time
them for
we've
years.
seen
It's like, yo,
wokeness disperse people in collective groups. You know, we've seen evolutions of wokeness where people have different, like where that opinion comes to a boiling point where it didn't matter for a long time, that it doesn't matter, but it gets to a boiling point to where that opinion, if it is opposed to mine, we're at a boiling point that it is now it triggers the fight or flight response verbally. And it does it ideologically. There's a word I'm trying to say there, and I didn't say it right.
I got you, bro. I
But
got you. I'm listening.
but it triggers through that. It triggers the fight or flight, and it happens all the time. I mean, I've seen people divorce over this election, and I've seen people divorce over gay marriage. I've seen people divorce over a lot of different things, and I'm sure people were divorcing each other over fucking segregation, because the guy or the woman in the Caucasian relationship had a different opinion about segregation. Maybe they were for it, or again the other person was. They left those boiling point moments. I have an echo. Are you there? Oh, all right. Yeah, but those boiling point moments happen historically time and time and time and time and time again, and it has to get to that boiling point. But we know those visual social triggers, those telltale signs that these events are at a boiling point and a paradigm shift will occur. And historically, it has happened in the progressive, genuinely correct direction abroad, and the right, will probably end up, I'm saying the right side or left side in that sense, but the right in general, like, the right side of things won for segregation, the right side of things won for gay rights, and the right side of things will win again for blockchain. It's going to get to a boiling point. We're seeing that happen financially with what people are doing with Dogecoin and GameStop stocks and AMC stocks. Now what we have seen as something as relatable as this, as a boiling point telltale sign, was the Boston Tea Party event. We're witnessing a very fucking similar event where people aren't just throwing their money into the fucking water, essentially. They're throwing it into shitcoins. And they're basically burning their money like Heath Ledger's Joker, and it's not about the money, it's about the message. And that's exactly what is happening. We can see the boiling point, and we know through historical progression where this will go. We will win. It just, you're like you said, we have to get to those boiling points.
So, all right, I'm going to throw out a couple of things. One, I think that when it comes to how America works out, and I look at things historically, we have our periods of when certain subgroups within the larger culture start to make it to a certain level, it's either economics or politics of it, or size. Size is but X amount of time is the political influence and the money side of it. Something always happens to bring that group back into the fold. Women's suffrage, civil rights, human rights, the black voting right thing, LGBT, all the other letters, where like every couple of decades, bro, it's been going on. And it's always something that brings them back into the fold. And I look at where we are now and go, okay, the difference being is we have the technology to connect and still get the word out about stuff and do it in ways that we didn't have it before.
Oh, could you imagine if there was like a TikTok during slavery?
Bro. But the all right, so here's the cat and mouse part of it, bro. The cat and mouse part of it is you don't control the platforms that are now virtually connecting you. Like, yes, there are workarounds, but it's a cat and mouse game between you who wants to connect with others and make change at the societal level, and then the algos that are put together by a company that is looking to keep things at a certain, let's slow that down a little bit. Let's keep it within certain, parameters. We're not trying to move too fast, and we're not trying to break the balance of things, right? Like right now we are seeing the social contract being questioned and adjusted and expanded and pushed back on, but yet we're also seeing the algos of the companies that allow us to talk or not talk about it in real time. And this is globally, bro. Look what was going on with Hong Kong last year. Look how China works out. When people tell me shit like, oh, I'm about freedom of speech, I'm like, if you're about freedom of speech, you should have been mad when Alex Jones got cut from every Sony platform in one day. You should have been mad when the sitting president got dropped from Twitter once he is no longer in the position. Like, he was a sitting president. Love him or hate him, other countries are looking at us going, wait, so y'all just gonna let a private company shut your president up? What the hell is wrong with y'all? Like, bro, I sit back and I just look sometimes and I just
it does show that our country is more of a corporation than a government.
What is that, corporatocracy? Max Kaiser been talking about that for years, bro.
Well, it's been that way for years. It's just now it's gotten to that boiling point of being exposed. They can no longer sweep it under the rug. The lump is too big. There's an elephant in the room at this point, and people are tired of fucking getting shit on by it.
Bro, an elephant shit is huge, okay?
Well, we've seen what people are doing with the piles of the shit they got, People are taking that stimulus money and buying GameStop stocks and Dogecoin with it now. And I hope with the next stimulus check they get, that's exactly what they fucking do. Burn it, set it on fire, throw it into the fucking harbor and buy a shitcoin with it. Doge is a peaceful protest. So if you want, to do your part, just buy some Doge. And, that's a protest in its own right. Bitcoin is too. But I think Bitcoin has been compromised by by the money. To me, it's compromised its integrity to its own original mission statements.
Okay, so again, like I look at it and I think about what Andreas said, and this is why I call myself Andresian in how I look at the space now, in that it's not about me telling you, oh, watch out for this, oh, watch out for that, oh no, you can't do X, Y, and Z. No, it's better. Like, it's like, listen, I'm gonna give you the basic resources to be able to like learn, but at some point you're gonna have to experience some of this stuff. And what is it? Nothing beats education like experience or something like that. And it's like you were saying, like the people who just pay to get the, the what they understand from other people, like they don't come in with the same, they don't have the same values because they don't experience the same thing. And then like for whatever's going on in your life, like another thing that gets me with the whole, the big money folks and like the Michael Saylors and stuff is, how am I looking at comparing my financial situation, my way of life to a multi-millionaire who operates on a whole different scale and operational environment than me, the everyday average day person who's like in the gig economy, who has a regular 9-to-5 job.
It is disincentivizing the average person from getting in because it's starting to look like an elitist thing, and it's getting that status symbol, and it is deterring people because of that. And it started in media. I remember live streaming the Big Bang Theory day that they did a Bitcoin episode, and I watched it live premiere, and it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. But it was, to me, it was like one of those, false flag kind of a things where it was just like, oh, this was to make Bitcoin look bad, but it also was like, oh, well, Bitcoin's on a TV show, so everybody likes it. But I'm like, yeah, but the way that they made it look, an average person watching Big Bang Theory, they thought a bunch of rocket scientists that work at a fucking, science, and they couldn't even figure out Bitcoin, and they lost all their money. And now it's starting to look like only the Michael Saylors can get into Bitcoin, and the average person still doesn't know that they don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. They still look at it like a stock, like they have to buy the whole stock. They're pricing people out mentally.
Yes. Yo, the other day, CNBC dropped a thing about Bitcoin. They had a couple of people on, and I watched it. It was like maybe an 8-minute clip or something. And I watched how the host, what's the lady? Mackenzie something is her name. Something, I don't remember. It's Mackenzie something though. I watched how they framed it as just that. They were naming, the big name investor. They were talking about the money people. And they made it seem as though, and they said nothing about how you can actually buy smaller increments of a Bitcoin.
No, they'll just tell you to use, something like in your TD Ameritrade account to get into Bitcoin, or use your 401k to get into Bitcoin, or, buy this stock because this company is getting into Bitcoin.
They mentally priced you out because they were only talking in whole Bitcoins. They didn't make a point about, hey, you can actually buy this at lower amounts. And it was all about the big name money folks, the Wall Street folks. Side note, I'm going to have a new hashtag that I'm going to start pushing called Wall Street Daddies. And then the Wall Street Kid, you know who's a Wall Street Kid? Robin Hood is a Wall Street Kid. Weeble is a Wall Street Kid. And they don't want you to know it because when the shoulder tap happens, then, prices and access to the platform start getting restricted. That's going to be my new 2 hashtags, Wall Street Kid and Wall Street Daddies.
We gotta get the daddies. We gotta follow the daddies. Follow the money.
Right. And that's it right there. Like I feel like this whole situation that just played out last week really pulled the curtain back. And it's funny to watch how the mainstream news
people don't understand what the fuck they're seeing when the curtain gets pulled back, bro. And I know this. We've seen it happen. Wells Fargo gets fucking in trouble for opening up accounts without people knowing and charging them fees.
Bro,
And the worst case scenario,
it was rogue actors.
dude, the worst case scenario that happened was people said, "Oh, okay, fuck Wells Fargo," and they closed their Wells Fargo account. And then they went down the street and they opened a fucking PNC bank account. Like, that was the worst case. Like, the curtain was pulled back right then and fucking there when Wells Fargo fucked all of their customers right in the ass. And they got a slap on the wrist, and then they got a bailout after that and went on a fucking vacation that was paid for by the taxpayer. It was an insane year, and nothing came of it. Not a fucking thing. Bro, bigger fucking curtain pullback and nothing comes of it. Edward Snowden. Look what Edward Snowden done. And nobody gives a fucking shit. They make a fucking Netflix movie out of it. They make it Hollywood as hell. And then people look at it and it's now you're desensitized to it. It doesn't feel real. It seems like, oh, it's just a movie. They make it make believe and they take reality from you.
Yes. Like, okay. So
this might not be anything, bro. It should be. But history can show you that people don't. It just sometimes... It just doesn't matter.
100%. Like, and that's one of my worries too. It's just like, all right,
you keep getting these stimulus checks. That's enough to keep people at home playing PlayStation 5s all day, and that's all it's going to take.
Is it placate? I can't remember the word, but it's basically like, hey, we're gonna give you the shiny thing. Okay, go play over there. Like, I feel like there's gonna this decade is going to be that cat and mouse game of us trying to communicate and then getting blocked because of the algos and stuff. And then on the other side, it's going to be the Wall Street daddies doing what they do to make their funds, but then the let's say the guppies in the collective working to fight that whole scenario out. But it's going to be a whole bunch of back and forth, and it's just like example, right? As you said, like, this could end up just being nothing because like it doesn't go anywhere to make change. I worry about it for sure, but it's just like, okay, I can only worry but so much. And then at the same time, like, look at how, you know what I'm saying, last month started. Like, we didn't even make it to the middle of the month, and it kicked off like that. And it's just like, well, what is the summertime gonna be? Who the fuck knows? Just like you don't know what meme or gift is gonna go viral. Like,
I mean, well, look at what happened with. I
feel like there's so much stuff.
You mentioned it earlier with the Hong Kong situation. You know, hashtag freedom for Hong Kong, the riots and the protests, and that whole thing is now gone. Like, it never happened. And it was because of a pandemic, and they got to lock down all the protesters and rioters and scare them with a bug, and they just made that whole problem disappear historically. It'll never even be a fucking blip in the history books at all, in any of them. Right. It never happened. Etch and sketch.
That's gone. Like when you try to find out about when you're inside China and try to find out about like Tiananmen Square. Like,
nothing.
That'll pop up on the search engine.
Nothing. You get nothing.
Right, like, yeah, it's definitely a lot of stuff that I'm just like sitting back and going, I can deal with let me figure out how these different systems work towards my advantage. I'm gonna try to put some people on, and we're just gonna rock out and see how things go for the rest of the
I hope that this isn't another Occupy Wall Street kind of a thing. Like, nothing came out of it. It actually made everything look worse. It looked kind of like an op. You know, like, that shit was orchestrated from the opposing side of the whole situation just so they could make their opposers look like idiots. You know what I mean? Like, sort of like the Capitol building being rioted. Like, that looked so inside, orchestrated, set up, and organized to specifically make them look like idiots. So it was just like, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Bro, that one in particular is a whole offline conversation, bro.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I can't go on. It's just, that's too far. I don't want to do it right now.
All right, so can we switch gears or switch topics? Because
Yeah, we got to wrap things up here soon. We've been over an hour, and I got to help some people do some NFT things.
and okay, boom, then it works because I was actually going to ask you about NFT stuff. So, with the ebook that I'm doing right now, like I'm literally working on my last couple of pages or sections of the book, and then I got to get it proofed one more time. What I wanted to do was add memes as the headers of the chapters, right? So I was thinking of it like how a zip file works, where it's the body of the words, right? And then the NFT stuff is in there too at the head of each chapter. And then that gets attached to the NFT art.
Hmm?
Am I off on that? Because I was worried about how much data that would be as far as the meme, because it's like 11 chapters. So each chapter has a meme plus the words. And really, if you like take out the spacing and stuff, it's probably like 25 pages, right? I don't know how much that actually like translates to because I haven't found the memes yet. I'm
There's
still
so many
working.
different ways to do NFTs that like half of that doesn't matter at all. Yeah, there's so many different routes. If you have like 1,000 chapter book, like you could put the Bible as an NFT. It really wouldn't matter what, like, I mean, depending on which way you want to go. Some routes it will, some routes it won't. You
Oh,
could sell your book as an NFT on Rarible, and when I buy the NFT, a link is unlocked that allows me to download that book, and it's a one-time link, so I can't like share that link, or I could obviously download the book and share that book again because that's impossible to prevent,
right.
honestly. But you can sort of still limit it to that experience where I can go and buy your NFT. I've done that with Paul. I can't remember his last name, but Paul wrote 2 books, and then he did an NFT, and Crypto Quandary did the first Wax book NFT, and I bought that one as well. But
Okay.
what he did was
All
different. He
right.
basically made every page into like the NFT. So like when you buy his book, you're actually getting the images of every page in that NFT. And I got Paul his book from Rarible, and when I bought the NFT, I got that link that let me download that PDF file of the ebook.
Okay. So um I'm I'm building it on Wax. So what I thought would be the artwork, because like the way I'm doing the artwork, some of them are better than others. I think I'm doing a limited number, where it might be like 50, well 25, so double out to 2 copies, quote, and then that's 50 altogether. And I'm just making those 50 and then calling it a day on that. But I'm doing the NFT side, and I'm looking to do a Kindle version. The Kindle version though is just gonna be plain Jane. Like you don't get none of the fancy artwork cover part of it, none of that. Um, and I'm gonna end up pricing it higher in USD on the Kindle side, and it will be priced lower on the crypto side.
Okay,
So
that
I'm
makes
playing that
sense.
game.
Yeah, it makes sense. Always incentivize for crypto. I mean, that's sort of what I try to tell people when they want to figure out, oh, how do I earn it? Well, I'm like, well, what do you do? Are you an artist? Are you a musician? Well, whatever you
Right.
do, just say, yeah, this is how much I get paid for whatever, and I also accept Bitcoin, and you can give me 10% less if you have some Bitcoin instead of cash. So that might incentivize somebody to go buy some Bitcoin so they can save 10% real quick. Depending, that adds up, or it might be a lot in general just for that one time. So, yeah, definitely makes sense to give people that option and then motivate them and incentivize it with a discount to use crypto. But yeah, you could definitely use multiple ways. Even Wax, I think, has a way. I think Mike told me in Telegram last night there was a way to do something in the metadata to kind of like lock in stuff, and then once you buy the asset, you can see it and get it. And I don't know. There's different ways to do it now with
All right.
everything.
See, that's what I need to figure out. Like, how do I add the book into the NFT, or is it that you buy the because I also wanted to try to like.
Well, there's
customize.
redeemables, right? So you could have it set up to where, like, if I buy an NFT from you, I can send it back to you with an email address in the memo. So, like, Wax has memos. So if I buy the NFT from you and then I send it back to your address with my email address as the memo, you can send me the book in an email. You know what I mean? So there's like a bunch of different ways. I mean, literally, bro, it's like I could come up with 20 more different ways right now. And that was just 3 off the top of the head. Like,
but I want the person who bought the NFT to be able to keep it. Like, I don't want it back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that, like, that's the other part of it where it's like, how do I have to put it in as one of the in the schemes, or is it that the email part works out the best? And
dude, if you want me to keep it, you can send me. So, like, just real quick to fix that little problem. I mean, so when I send you the NFT with my email address in the memo, once you send it to me, you can send it back. But then you have to worry about me selling it to somebody else, and then there's somebody else redeeming it, and you know what I mean? Like, that causes a secondary market problem. That could be fixed with different things. You could also sell something similar and just use like non-transferable. So when I buy the NFT, when I buy the book from you, I can't resell that NFT. But then you can see my address, and that way you can send me like another NFT that says, "Hey, send this back to me," and with the memo and that. You know, so there's a lot. Like, dude, it's so gamified. I don't want to go too far because I could talk about it for another hour just about how you could do this.
I wish we would have started off the conversation with that, because that's the part that I need to figure out right now. Like,
well, just set up like a business meeting on my Calendly. If you go to kenbozak.com, I don't charge anybody for that shit, bro. Just like get me for an hour. We won't be on air or whatever, but you'll at least be able to shoot the shit. We can chop it up. I help people do a lot of like hands-on stuff, and yeah, just set up like a business meeting with me on my Calendly, and I'll definitely be able to like shoot more about it. But it's like, it's just so vast, and we can keep going from like this. It's like a never-ending fork of a conversation, because there's so many moving parts. It's like, you know what I mean? Every decision changes the next potential possibilities for where you want to go and how you want to do it.
All right, well, so here's what's going to happen. I will definitely put that in play today in regards to having a one-on-one talk with you, because I really need to figure this out so I can get this book out. And then this book is my experiment for my brand echo book. The first book is called Sergeant Trekk, Life After AIT, When the Shit Starts. And then I'm experimenting with this book so I could do it better on the second book, which is Brand Echo, Every Brand Has a Voice, Who's Echoing Yours? I appreciate you, bro. And like I say, to me, you're like the super guerrilla marketer that like more people need to pay attention to. I've been saying that as long as I know you, bro.
I want less attention. Stop following me. You know, don't. I want to stay as low key as long as possible.
Right.
Oh man, this was fun, bro. We should do this more often. But yeah, definitely set up the business meeting. I'll walk you through all the ways. I mean, I could get you in touch with Paul and John. They've both done NFT books on different blockchains. There's one that you could. There's a potential you could do this with Phantasma. At Phantasma with Ghost Market, yeah, a whole new NFT marketplace blockchain that came into my life, and I love it. And I bought music on that blockchain that was done in NFT ways that I never even thought possible. It blew my mind. So there's so many different options that are out there that we don't even know about yet because they're still new. So Phantasm is another blockchain option for releasing your book. It's obviously not mainstream, right? Like if you were an app developer making a game, you would probably want it on iOS or Google Play Store, right? But you know, sometimes it's better to be an early adopter of a marketplace, you know, and that's sort of how I look at Phantasma right now. Same thing with like Atomic Hub. They're still pretty early. But yeah, guys, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching. I see we have like 37 people still watching, and we're at like an hour and 20 minutes. You're all crazy. I know that we have like we have over 10 people on YouTube. We have over 10 people on Twitter, over 10 people on whatever other Twitch and D Live, I see the number here, and it's like, you guys are really here. Like,
Thank y'all for actually listening to my rambles.
Right? Like, I didn't think I had anything worth listening to for an hour and 20 minutes every day. But I do this every day, and you guys keep showing up, and it means a lot. So thank you. Shout out to Emilio. Much love, my bro. Everybody for tuning in. Zach, Drew, Scott, thank you. No, seriously, thank you guys. You don't have to thank me. I enjoyed this way more than you guys would ever know. Jordan, I love you. Thank you. PFC Wells, that's you, isn't it, Trekk? I see you. Scott, Emilio, everybody. I'm going to wrap things up here, get going. I got to get to work and help people make some NFTs today. I got some of my own coming out in another day or so. I got a crazy set I'm excited for. Have a day.
This is bro.
There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenient store, we host a CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech, or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.